Can you guys hear me? I'm still here. Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh, how funny. Can you see my screen? Because, like, I'm new on the webinar thing. Hey, Jen. Hey, Mike. Yay. All right, so you see my little dog then on the screen? All right, cool. I want to try before everybody jumps on just to see, and James, maybe you can help me, how I open it up so people can ask a real life question. I've not conquered that yet. Go in, Mike, to speakers. It does look like Yoda. I love that picture. Let's see. Oops. All right, as people jump on, Q&A. We'll have Q&A later. And hopefully I'll be able to open up the line to be able to do it. There's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. I see it, James, I see it. So I'll be able to read them, but will I be able to unmute the people to ask one? That's my question. That is my question for the day. And though for those of you that are jumping on, I am not ready mentally for fall. That is why I'm in Florida. Oh, you don't think so? Okay. All right. I wasn't sure either. So, all right, that's cool. We'll go that route. And I'm going to set my timer here on my phone because it's funny. They don't have a time up here on there. So let's see. Oh, my timer's been running forever. All right. So it is 11:28. So who else is on the call with us? So everybody's in chat. And so when we start and you want to ask a question, I'm going to have people go to the Q&A for questions instead of chat. So, so just FYI on that, and I'll go over that here in a minute. Yeah, so thanks, James. You can do it when you have meetings or a Zoom conference, but probably not with webinars. All right, well, I wanted to try the webinar thing because I like to get the people registered. So I can reach back out to them or send them my workbook, my ultimate guide, but I do like it to be interactive. So that's okay. We'll try this one first and see if, if we like it. Here's my question. Does everybody see this question? Well, I see it. And I can send that privately, but so I have one question that I just answered. All right, well, that's pretty cool. All right, well, we are about at the top of the hour, and so I am going to go ahead here and get started. Let's see, everything's shared. So, okay, so hello, everybody. My name is Becky Auer, and I am excited to welcome you here to what I am calling now Webinar Wednesdays. And I'm going to go over a specific thing every Wednesday from 11:30 to 12:30, and I'm just thrilled that you are here. So are you mentally ready for fall? My answer is no. I'm down actually in Florida working on the house here, opened it up for mom and dad, and so that's been really nice for me because I hate the cold. And so living in Pittsburgh, that's not a good thing. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started and see how things go. So house rules, please keep your videos off. It's just bandwidth more than anything, which is what I found out last week. And then use the Q&A section instead of the chat to ask questions. You can use the chat to chat back and forth with each other, but if anybody has any questions, put them in the Q&A because that's where I'm going to primarily look for, when we have time or when I, call up with Q&A or whatever. So go ahead and use the Q&A for that. So my overall goal for these webinars is to really provide you with great content, get straight into the lesson, have instructional presentations for you that are going to help you generate more leads, get more clients, and make more money. That's the purpose of these. Today, we're going to talk about what is a unique value proposition and why you need one. And they're named a whole bunch of different things But we're going to go over, what those different names are and what you can do with them and why they're so important for your business. So I always like to point out, I do a local meeting in Pittsburgh and work with all sorts of coaches and mastermind groups and things. And we all know that being an entrepreneur is lonely. You may not have a supportive spouse or significant other. And everybody, when you were getting into business, might have told you, oh, that's crazy. Why don't you just stay at your job? And so I understand that. It was like that for me when I started my 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. There weren't a lot of places to go for support and help. That was kind of before the internet, which just makes me really old. But there weren't a whole bunch of different groups and things like there are now. So I understand it's being lonely, and I want you to feel like this is just a safe place for you. You can ask any question. You won't feel silly or dumb. And so I understand that. So the road to success, look, everybody starts out and you think, hey, I'm going to go from A to Z and there's not going to be that many roadblocks or bumps in the road. And of course, the reality is that there is, and there's a lot. And sometimes it gets so discouraging. And as entrepreneurs and people with ADD, right, and OCD and all of those things, we just keep plugging away. And so I appreciate that about you. I appreciate you taking the time to be here today to learn something new, to better your business. So the road to success isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. So who am I? My name is Becky Auer. For those of you that don't know me, first of all, thank you for jumping on with me. I started 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. The last was a Japanese steakhouse. It took from $0 to $6.5 million in just over a year and kept it there for 7 years with no restaurant background at all. And so I did that through a series of events, most of them marketing. Voted number 20 in the top business coaches in the world. I've run over 300 workshops, seminars, mastermind groups for entrepreneurs and business owners and sales professionals and entrepreneurs. And I just love it. It is so my passion. I was just recently awarded Entrepreneur of the Year amongst a whole group of 500 plus business coaches. And so that was a thrill. I tell you all of this and I share all this with you because I just want you to see and to know how much this is my passion. This is just what I love to do. And I want to give back and I want to be able to help you take your business to the next level because it's not that hard. If you make small incremental changes and do what everybody else is not doing, you're able to do that, right? You're able to say, hey, I can make a small change and have a big return on investment because nobody else is out there doing it. So I want to share my passion with you and I want you to not be afraid and to take that step outside of your comfort zone. So today we're going to talk about what is a unique value proposition and why you need one. So anybody who has a business should have a unique value proposition. And they're called other things. They're called an elevator pitch. They're called a market dominating position. There's all sorts of different names for it. For today's training, we're just going to stick with unique value proposition. And I know that you'll know what that is and sounds like for you. So if you feel and you look just like your competition, you are always, always, always going to end up competing on price. And that is not where you want to be. But when people start out in business, what do? They look on the internet and they think, oh, I like the look of that website, or, oh, I like the look of, this, and I'm just going to copy it. But that doesn't mean that it's working for their business. And so when you do a price comparison and you say, oh, well, this is a spa and they do massages for $75 and I'm going to do one for $70 to get people through the door, you're competing on price, and that is not good for anybody. So you really need to separate your business from your competition because we want you to dominate, and it's not that hard. You just have to take some small steps to be able to do that. So it means that you have to innovate in your business and you have to create the market dominating position for the process. So today you're going to learn a couple different things. You're going to learn how to differentiate your business from your competition. You are going to stake out and we're going to help you develop a UVP, unique value proposition, or market dominating position, or an elevator pitch, or whatever you want to call that for your business. So I want you to leave here at least having a pretty good idea what that is. And we're going to discover 9 ways to separate your business from all the others out there in the industry. Sound good? I'm saying, I'm not looking in the chat, but I'm assuming that you are in there saying, yes, that sounds good. Okay, so what exactly is a unique value proposition? Well, it's simply a value-added customer perceived benefit or a combination of benefits that differentiates you from the competition. And you do that in a strong enough manner that makes your business the logical choice in the minds of prospects and customers. So it's very simple, very easy to say, but not always so easy to do. So why do you need a unique value proposition? Because no matter what you're selling, you are competing with other businesses. And your unique value proposition helps you clarify what your own unique strengths are. So this might be a whole new concept to you. You might think or have thought, geez, I've never even thought about this. Like, what does make me different from everybody else that's out there? What is my strength? What is my uniqueness? And like, I appreciate that, because until you're really faced with what that is, you don't know, right? You never probably even thought about that. So we really just want this to become a really simple tool for you to help communicate that to your customers, clients, or patients. So the elements that make up a really good UVP or unique value proposition is that it has to connect emotionally with your customers, clients, or patients. It has to be memorable. And if you can work in addressing the needs of your market with that, even better. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of those. Number 1 is understanding who your target market is. And, you know, that in and of itself could be a whole lesson, right? But let's just say you know who your target market is. It's your best client. It's your best patient. It's the one you want 100 more of. And so that's who we're going to talk about. So as we talk about your target market, your best client, some of the questions that you can ask yourself are, you know, what are they currently concerned with? What are their biggest fears and their problems that they have right now? Because if you can work your UVP in addressing that issue, it will help. What kind of lifestyles do they see themselves as living? Because you can talk then directly to them. How do they decide what to buy? You know, do they look online? Do they look on the web? Do they do Google searches? You should know that data. What is their other types of buying behavior? Where else are they going to do research from, and that type of thing? What are their values? What are their attitudes? And what brings customer fulfillment to them? Like, when are they the most happy? Because if you can work that in with your unique value proposition, you're going to get them. And what actually makes the customer go ahead and take action? You know, what makes them say, yes, it's time for me to buy, or yes, I want that product, service, or service. So if you ever want to convert prospects into customers, it is critical that you create a series of short messages that will compel your prospects to instantly recognize that you provide exceptional value and extraordinary value as well. And the way to do that is you want to, you know, compel them. And by doing that, you have to talk directly to them and appeal directly to their emotions. Okay? So that's why as we develop this and we talk about this today, the short messages must focus solely on the solutions that your business provides. So everybody has a business and everybody has something that they're going to solve a problem or a solution, and you have to know what that is. Prospects will buy based on emotion only. So the message has to hit their emotional hot buttons, and I'm going to give you a whole slew of what some of those are. And the messages can be a short phrase, or they can go into a 10, 30, or 60-second elevator pitch, right? So like if you're at a BNI meeting, especially here in Pittsburgh, we have a BNI meeting where everybody learns to stand up and give their message, you know, in 10 to 30 seconds. But if you can't do that about your business, so when you're riding up the elevator and talking to somebody and they say, hey, what do you do? If you don't have that, then you're just floundering around like all the rest of the competition. Okay, step 2 is research your competitors. So I do a little, you want to make some calls, and you want to, if you don't know who your competitors are out there, you have to know that information. You have to know why your business is different from their businesses, right? So make some calls, make some inquiries, go to their website, see what they're doing. Don't copy them by any means, but just do some intel. You have to know and research your competitors, because your unique value proposition, it's only going to get you so far if you don't have a great product behind it. And you have to be able to live up to whatever it is that you say your unique value proposition is. And it also has to be different and unique, more so than any other product or service out there. So you really want to know kind of like what's already out there and where you want to go. Okay, so step 3 is you want to develop a product, if you don't already have one, that's going to blow away the competition. So a couple questions to ask yourself if your product or your business does that is, does your current product or service uniquely address your customers' needs? Another question, what exactly is unique about your product, and what sets you apart from other products out there? And then you also should be pretty honest and pretty serious with yourself in, where do your products and services fall short? Where does that happen? How does that happen? And you need to address that and make that better. And can you offer a solution to your customers that the competition isn't offering? All right, step 4 is to create your unique value proposition. So some of the things you want to think about as you go are, what issues or opinions define your message? And I'm going to give you some examples of that. What do you support? What do you not support? What topics and viewpoints are a no-go? Maybe you don't want to get into politics in your UVP. I would totally agree with that. And what should you focus on? Like, what is your differentiator? What makes you different? What makes you unique? So a couple things as you go forward. Whose needs am I addressing? You should always be talking directly to your prospect or customer and getting inside their thought process. What do you offer that nobody else can? There has to be something about your service or program. Like last week we talked to Rakesh. I'm not sure if he's on the call today, but he was, I believe, a branch manager at West Banco. And so I said, hey, there's so many banks out there. What makes you different? What makes you unique? Why would I go there and over and above every other opportunity to go to a bank? What would that be? So if you're a bank or you're a commodity like that, there's a lot of choices. You have to make yourself unique. So an example of what that might be for Rakesh would be, maybe he works directly with commercial lending and getting SBA loans approved. And that's what he and his bank become known for. Okay, it's something like that. And then you also want to know why people should buy from you and not somebody else. Are you going to give personalized service? What are those things? And I'm going to give you a whole bunch of different examples. So as we write your UVP, what I like to do is brainstorm. I throw everything down on a piece of paper, everything that you think that makes your company unique, everything that makes you different. If you don't know, like if you're just staring at a blank piece of paper, A, that's not good. You really want to really work on this then. But B, one of the easiest ways to do that is to jump on and ask your customers, why do they come here? Why do they buy from you? Why do they buy your service? Is it you that they like? Is it a specific piece of equipment that you have? You really have to know the answer to that, because then we can work your UVP around that. Easiest way. I was just doing my coaching call or my VIP call this morning with a couple different members on it. And this is one of the things that we talked about, is you really have to get inside the customer's head and answer those questions. But I write them all down on a piece of paper. I call up, I ask some of my customers that have purchased from me or that are, currently with me, and they will give you a lot of the ammunition, if you will, to know what that is. And then we'll narrow it down later. But at first, do a brain dump. Okay, so your UVP should be something that your customers, when they hear it, they will get it immediately. So I like to keep it short but very compelling, and I'm going to give you some examples of that. Then when you read your UVP, you ask yourself whether they're going to sound compelling enough. Like if that was me and I didn't know anything about my business, is it going to, make me take action? Because that's what you want. So again, talk to your market, talk to your customers, talk to your clients, ask them why they're doing business with you, and record them if you can. I would tell them up front, you're going to record it. Mostly if they're friendlies, I call them friendlies, the people that you can reach out to. And then go and test your UVP on real people in your market and get feedback. So like if you go to a networking event and you're, maybe you have 3 different UVPs, sorry, I kind of choked up on that. Try like try all 3 on different people and see which one resonates the most. You have to test it as you go. And if none of them resonate, throw it in and start all over again. So, okay, so now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to say, let's start to create your unique value proposition. So there's all sorts of methods and tools to do this, but let's start with what benefits do you offer? How does using your product or service enrich the lives of its users? And it's usually, a prospect or somebody that's already, that you want to do business with, a client, a customer, or a patient. And how is your service enriching their lives? So write that down, about what that is. I also work with, if you have a team or if you have employees, a lot of times maybe they're front line, right? They're on the phones or they're dealing with them at the cash register or whatever. They would come away with tons of valuable ideas that you could offer. So I ask everybody, what those benefits that I offer, what are they? What made them do business with me? So here's a couple examples of some great UVPs. And most of you probably know a lot of them. Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. Avis, I've always loved it. We're number 2. We try harder, because everybody remembers number 1, but they're addressing the fact that they aren't number 1 and using that as a benefit to them because they try harder than Hertz does, right? M&M's, melt in your mouth, not in your hand, and Walmart, everyday low prices on a broad assortment, anytime, anywhere. So those are great UVPs that most people know. So one for like a local dry cleaner that I thought up is that the dry cleaner often can offer pickup service, right? So like when I had my 2 little girls, I don't want to leave that house if I didn't have to. If I had a dry cleaner that offered pickup and delivery, oh, hello, like that would have resonated with me all day long, and I would have used that dry cleaner. But nobody around me offered that service, right? So that's just a way that you can differentiate yourself with a local business. Another example is how you add value. If you're a gift shop owner, that you can have complimentary gift wrap, right? So I'm always like running out to like an event or something, and I always stop in this one store because they will do automatic gift wrap right there. So I don't have to buy a bag. I don't have to do anything. They do it automatically for me. But that company doesn't even advertise that they do that. But for them, this would be a unique value proposition. Gift wrapping on site for last minute gifts. Oh, hello, that's why I go there. They just don't broadcast that. So it's probably something that you already do, but you may not think that that's a big deal, yet it is, right? So put that down on your list. Okay, so when you create added value, a lot of times prospects and customers aren't going to buy on price, even though that's the easiest thing to fall back on, right? They buy based on value that they receive for that price. So whatever that looks like for you, how can you create more added value? And so that's absolutely something to think about. Everybody thinks, oh, they just buy because it's the lowest price. Well, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the one with the lowest price. I want to be the one that adds the most value, that they step up and join my group or whatever that is. So when you create added value, it's a strategy, right, that you can take and form, and you can use that to have a discounted package or a free, create value somehow, and get them into your group. But I mean, just like this, right? I'm not getting paid to do this. I just want to create and add value. So that's a way that people can get to know me a little bit. Like, they like me, they don't like me. They, if they ever look for a business coach, hey, I provided them a lot of value and they resonated with what I'm saying, right? So you just create added value. You have to cut through the noise. How about that kid? Like, yeah, I'm out here screaming. So you have to be able to do that too. You have to be able to cut through the noise. And, creating a unique value proposition, sometimes it shocks people, right? But you have to be able to get your message out. So here's a couple different ways that you are able to do that. Hold on one second. Okay. That's right, James. Look, I just pulled up the chat. And James said, if that were the case, we'd all be driving cheap cars. Thank you, James. That is absolutely correct. So most convenient, right? So this is one of the ways that you are able to, convenience is one of the biggest things. So it's either like the dry cleaner, convenient by location, or they can bring it to me. Availability is part of convenience. An ordering process, like I automatically think Amazon with their one-click, like who doesn't go to Amazon and use one-click? I use it all the time. They already have my information. I hit one click, it shows up in 2 days. So I love it. Delivery. So again, I think Amazon, it's here in 2 days. I can pay $3.59 to have it in 1 day. And sometimes, depending on where their headquarters are, I can have it the next day with no additional charge. And payment terms. Look, if you go and you're a higher price service, maybe you're collision repair, but you agree to take payments over, a certain number of months at your collision repair shop, you can do something like that where another place might, want everything up front. And you either don't have the insurance check yet or, whatever that is. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to play in with convenience. You also want to deliver your products faster than everybody else, or you don't want to, it's just an option for you. And so, don't forget, speed is one of those things where you're able to do that. Another thing is, education, training. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so small business owners can automatically compete with big, huge corporations by offering small or specialized targeted training to their customers when a big corporation doesn't provide it, right? So an easy way to do that is to jump on a webinar and provide education, provide training, whether it's paid or not paid. It's just an easy, quick way to be able to do that. And so don't forget education and training. Is it easy to understand? Look, a lot of times I get instructions and I don't even understand them or how to use them. So if you have something that has like written instructions, make sure it's like step 1, step 2, step 3. Or you can have a video that they can link to and just watch the video to be able to install that thing, right? So, so is it the easiest to understand? Is it the friendliest? Maybe it's just, you're over the top friendly. I kind of feel like that when I go into Chick-fil-A restaurant. Does anyone else love Chick-fil-A restaurants as much as I do? So you go in there and they're happy to see you and they're not, grouchy and ugly and, not happy to see you. They're just, yes, can I take your order? And it's my pleasure. And, all of those things. So you can be the friendliest, welcoming people. You can be the safest. You can reassure your customers or your clients that their safety is your top concern. Like, who doesn't want that in a doctor or a dentist's office, right? Like, I want to be safe. I don't want to have any further problems with my teeth. And so, safety is an issue for, if that's one of the things that is in your profession, it's a great way to tie in your unique value proposition. Okay, you can be the cheapest. We talked about this a little bit. It is not recommended. You do not want to compete on price, unless maybe you're a dollar store or something, right? But it's tough to compete on price. I highly say no to that. So if you need help with that, let me know. You can be the most luxurious, offer something that is truly special, but you pay for that. So like in the coaching consulting business, right, we always have the high-end package because 4% of the people will always buy your high-end, and your high-end gets more access to you, right? And so like you might have, your $10 a month, your $300, your $1,000, and then the $20,000 a year or a month package to have access to you, to go onto a retreat, to have 2 VIP training days, to come into the studio for a day. You always want to have that higher end. And again, it's just an option for you. I'm just throwing a bunch of things out as to how you can tie this in with your business. So being luxurious, offering that to your customers, it's another option. You can have the easiest to use, right? You just flip the lid and you go in and you use that thing, or you just push a button and it comes up for you. So when I buy my cars and when I get my laptops, I just want them to work. And that's why I stick with a Mac and I stick with my Lexus, right? I just want them to turn on and work. I don't want to have to deal with them. Easy, easy peasy. You can be the most entertaining. People are bored stiff. They want to laugh. So give them something to laugh about. I know when you go onto YouTube a lot of times, like my kids live on YouTube and they'll send me some really funny videos, and some of them are laugh out loud funny. So you can be entertaining. If you are in that realm, like a restaurant or anything, like I have a friend who has Peace, Love, and Little Donuts, and it's entertaining when you go in there because you see all these little donuts getting made and things like that. It's just awesome. You can be the trendiest, like if you're doing fashion or health or spa stuff, you can be on the cutting edge of fashion, or you can be on the cutting edge of those new machines for skin tightening and all of those types of things. So trendy is okay too. Now here's a couple other things that you can offer. You can absolutely be trustworthy, right? You want to remove all potential risk. So when I work with clients and work with my members, look, you have to have 100% money back guarantee. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you got to get another product, right? You have to offer a guarantee and you have to step up to it. When somebody comes back and says, hey, this wasn't what it lived, in my mind, didn't live up to those expectations, just give them their money back. You don't need whiners around you, next, right? So, but having 100% money back guarantee, a quick and easy return policy. Like when I buy stuff online, I see if there's free returns. If there isn't, I don't do business with them. So how much business are they losing because they don't have a free return policy, right? Or an easy return policy. Okay, exclusivity. You can offer something for them that just can't be found anywhere else. Like if you're in, or when you want to join a group because you're going to have exclusive access to that thing, whether it's a software or maybe it's a person, or maybe it's a program that's been developed, but you don't get access to that until you belong and are part of that group. So I belong to quite a few groups because I always like to be on the cutting edge for you guys. And one of my groups that I'm in, I just love because like she'll do like a webinar like this, and you can access it for a week for free, and then she puts it in the vault. And I love that because now, since I'm part of her group, I can access that whenever I want to. But I could watch it for free first, but then it goes into the vault. So it's exclusivity. And I stay a paying member of her group every month because I want that exclusive access, okay? Affordability doesn't have to be cheap, but it can be affordable for everyone. Or if you want to be in that higher echelon where you don't want a lot of tire kickers, you make it, a higher priced type of a thing. Personalization. Customize your products and services to your customers' needs. Look, there's a whole thing out there called Etsy. And Etsy, for those of you that don't know, I love Etsy. And you can get anything you want literally personalized, right? So if that's one of the areas that you play in, personalization could be a great area for you. Customer care, just be the best at giving personal attention and service to people. Most people don't do that. As you know, I know customer service is at an all-time low in my opinion. So if you can just be, again, this much better, people are gonna love you and resonate with you. You can give deals, right? So what's coming up? Oh, Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Can you give specific deals for certain offers for, like a 1 day a month, or, things that are different from their competition that they can only get at one time, right? So deals are another way to work into a unique value proposition. Availability, make sure your products are always available and in stock. Free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? So if you make that a standard practice, for example, when I had my restaurant, if you came in and you were waiting for a table, we walked around with free appetizers, or at least a free bite of an appetizer that we cut into, pieces. So people weren't ticked off, sitting there waiting. So free stuff is always great. People love it, and then they come back and they want, you know, another one, or you make them really thirsty and they get something else to drink. So free stuff is good. A community. Look, if you just create a membership or a place for people to get together, or compare notes, or a Facebook group, or an exclusive group, you know, community alone, like the chambers, right? That's a community where people go to network and to learn. Same with the BNIs of the world. I have my own group. So we have a meetup group too that feeds into my other group. So there's all sorts of ways to connect in community, and people appreciate that. But that's a way that you could offer your unique value proposition by creating your own community and making that part of your UVP. And you want to create an experience. Look, I'm excellent at this, right? Life can be dull. Provide some excitement, create an experience. I just love this part because at our restaurant, it was an experience every night because I had the big hazmat sparklers that just went crazy. And, you know, for people that had birthdays, it wasn't some little baby candle. It was literally got shipped to us by hazmat. It was hilarious. But as soon as one went through the dining room, everybody was like, what's that? I want that, right? So it's an experience. And that's like one of about 12 things that I did to get people talking about my restaurant. And another one was we had a magician that came in and he put your name on a card when you were waiting in the bar to be seated. And then he'd flip the cards up and your name would pop out on the card and it would stick up on the roof. And so then anytime that person came in, they would look up and say, oh, that's my card, right? And so we created a whole experience around a bad situation where they had to wait to eat, but they had so much fun and they went back and they told people about their really cool experience. So create an experience, that one is always a winner. Maybe it's a cool design and people are like, hey, where'd you get that, right? Think like iPhone, right? That's a pretty cool design, you know, where'd you get that? Apple Store, they're experts at that. All right, so now we're gonna go into 7 examples of great unique value propositions. One could be donations, right? Tom's shoes. I like Tom's, my kids like Tom's, but they donate a pair of shoes to a child in need every time they sell a pair. So that is part of their unique value proposition, very cool. Sense of community, think geek. Gives its users something extra by creating a community atmosphere when you go into their stores. It's almost like the Life is Good, right? I love their stores. It's Think Geek similar. So you can fix a problem. So Dutch Boy Paints took the old, you know, paint can nightmare where you'd pop it open and it would go everywhere into an easy to carry, you know, pour and close paint can. And they get more business because of that. So you can fix a problem that's out there. You can have a bundle of UVPs. You don't just have to have one. So Safe Light Auto Glass is a great example that has several UVPs. Just, you know, looking online, they have a 24-hour service. They have detailed information on their technicians, and they have a lifetime guarantee. And they had others, but I ran out of space. But I just want to point out too, the detailed information on their technicians. What's that build? Trust, right? So you know who's working on your car, who's assigned to your car. It's like perfect. I used to do that with our hibachi chefs. I made them all up a little sports card with their hibachi knives. And then on the back, you know, I asked them 40 questions to answer about themselves. And I picked the top 3 and put them on the back. And then when people sat down at their hibachi table, they would hand out their business card, but it was really like a sport card with them, you know, sitting there with their knives and fun stuff. So it starts a conversation for people. You know, it really gets into, they get to know the chef and, you know, the more fun, the better. And they're screaming and shrimp flying and all of that stuff. All right, so use statistics. So Geico uses statistics all the time in their UVP. Their taglines say 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. So it's hard to argue with statistics. So if you have one that's short that you can work in with your UVP, I like statistics. They're hard to dispute. Go green. So there's a company called Castle Ink. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it, but you can sell 100% recycled ink cartridges that are cheaper than their original product. So they're talk about, and there's a lot of people right now, they're in the go green category. You could just have a really cool name like Good Copy Fast. and they provide good copies fast. So like, how perfect is that? So you can have a great name. All right, so here's 3 examples of great elevator pitches. So one is a consultant. So you're going up, picture yourself. You walk on the elevator and you're in there with somebody and they're like, hey, what do you do? And as a consultant, you can say, like, this is an example of a really great elevator pitch. Instead of, well, I help businesses. Help them what, right? So an example is, we help struggling small business owners who want to dramatically increase their cash flow, find the proven and tested strategies and tactics they need so they can generate more leads, attract more clients, and make more money than they have ever made before, even in a bad economy. Okay, so that's an example of a great elevator pitch. DUI attorney, what do you do? Well, I provide frightened and concerned first-time DUI offenders who want to avoid a felony conviction and mandatory jail time with the means to receive probation instead of a criminal felony charge, only pay half the fine, and obtain the help they need so they can rest assured this unfortunate event doesn't taunt them for the rest of their lives. So again, they're a little bit longer, but they really speak to that person. Look, if I had a DUI, knock on wood, that never happens, I would go to this person over somebody else that says, I'm a DUI attorney. I help people, you know, that got caught drunk driving. Okay, this one much more talks to what my, mind is racing, thinking about right then, okay? Last example, a dog trainer. What do you do? Well, I provide frustrated pet owners who want their pets to stop their embarrassing public behavior, like jumping on strangers and never getting down when asked, with superior obedience training the pets need so they can relax when they take their pet out in public. Have them follow their commands to the letter and take tremendous pride in their pet who doesn't want that, instead of, well, I train dogs. Okay, so we know, right, in these examples, who you're going to go to. So when you create your UVP, when you create your elevator pitch, these are the types of things that I want you to think about, okay? All right, so I know we went through a lot here, and in the, I want to always give back and give value to you. So I would like to gift you a 10-page workbook that I created on the Ultimate 5-Step Formula Guide to make your business stand out from the crowd. And you'll be able to get that. Let's see here if I can put this in the chat. I don't know if I can. I'll try in just a little bit, but go ahead and put in the chat if you would like to have a copy of that. I would be happy to get it to you once I figure out how to put that in the chat. or you can hit me up on email. You are welcome. You're welcome, Don. And you are welcome, Catherine and Heather. Hey, Heather, glad you're on. Thank you, James. All right, so I'm going to open up my Q&A. So if you have any question and answers, you're welcome, Gertrude. Go ahead and throw it into Q&A. All right. I will hang in there for a minute with the Q&A. And as we go through this, I would also like you to share in, not in Q&A because I want to answer any questions in Q&A, but in the chat, if you would like to, share an aha moment from today where you might be able to use some of what I said. I don't see a way that I can open up to actually hear you. Unfortunately, last week I used Zoom meeting and this week was the webinar. And so if anybody would like to share an aha moment, throw it in the chat. If anybody has a question, throw it in the Q&A and I'll keep an eye on that as we go. And you guys are all welcome. Thank you so much for all your happy, nice comments. So my goal every week is to provide content-rich, straight to the point, instructional presentations that are going to get you more leads, attract more clients, and get you more money. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do, and I appreciate you. So I will be here live every Wednesday from 11:30 to 12:30. I invite you to jump on. I'd appreciate if you'd share out the links that you got with other business owners, because I would love to be able to help them too. Oh, and Catherine has written in, she likes the hot buttons for the potential clients. Absolutely, Catherine, you know the drill. You got to get into what they're already thinking and answer that question. So thank you for sharing that. And Vince says the UVP has been a missing link. Thanks. Yeah, Vince, look, you're in a world of many, right? You do, I know that you do social media training through Facebook ads and things like that. You absolutely must have a UVP. So whether that is you niching down into a particular industry, or whether that, is you just concentrating on one thing instead of all social media, like maybe it's just Facebook ads. But if you want to do a couple different things, then maybe that's for a specific industry. Okay. All right. So people that were here for last week's training, or that weren't here for last week's training, if you would like to see last week's training, it was the 5 easy ways to build relationships and grow your business, even if you are starting out. It is on YouTube. And so you can access it there right now. There's the link. I'm not sure how to put that in the chat. I'll figure that out by next week. I'm 100% sure. And speaking of next week, we are going to be answering, or I'm going to be answering, why the 5-part formula is the only process that you will ever really need. And so the things that we are going to be going over, or what you will be learning, is how this 5-step process is going to impact all the areas of your business, how to get used to working with the 5-part formula, because once you know it, you can use it over and over and over again. A review of exactly what those 5 steps are, and then how to set them up yourself for success. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. All right, I have some Q&A. How many sentences for a UVP? It can be short or it can be long. I gave you examples of both. And so what I'd really like for you to do is to write both up. Then memorize the small one, go out, try it, network, see how they work. And then once you get one that works, expand a little bit more. Okay, I hope that helped, Catherine. All right, I have you're welcome. I have a question from Mike. Mike says, I have a small company of modest success. It's taken 10 years to become an overnight success. Yeah. Welcome to being an entrepreneur, Mike. Part of the biggest challenge that I have to overcome is the amount of capital it has taken to put towards marketing efforts. Amen. In fact, so much that I realize it's an inflection point of putting in, say, $1,000 in Facebook ads, realizing $1,000 in sales. 2,000 equals 2,000 in sales. It's gone up to 3,000 a month in ads, and again, 3,000 in revenue. I have no idea how much it's going to take to put in 5, 10, 20 into marketing and get 40, 80, or 100. Unfortunately, Mike, if I had that answer, I would be doing that myself. Again, test different headlines, test different approaches with people. One way that I know that some people are doing it with Facebook ads is to try and get some of your money back up front, would be to run a Facebook ad that pushes people to like a one-time offer that says, hey, Mike, I see you just signed up for X. I would like to offer you this one-time offer. It's normally $197, but since you opted in through my Facebook ad, I'm going to give it to you for a one-time payment of $7, $37, $57, whatever that is. And then when they buy that, then you reroute them right to what they originally opted in for. It's almost like a self-liquidating offer, and that has been very successful with some people. So I'm not sure what your company is, but that might be a way to test and try and have a little bit of self-liquidating offer out there for you, is to Facebook ad, one-time offer that is, normally valued maybe on your website or in your brick and mortar store for X. They can get it this one time because they opted in at a much lower price, but that money then pays for your Facebook ads. So maybe you can try that. I hope that helped, Mike. Brendan, should we always narrow it down to one UVP, or could we use multiple? No, you can use multiple, and I suggest multiple. Look, in the end, you have to be able to recite it off the top of your head. So if you're a business and you market to dentists, right, you might have a different UVP for a dentist who does implants versus a dentist who does regular dentistry, right? So yes, I would say you definitely should have one or more UVPs, but you have to know them and you have to be able to recite them. So don't get crazy, like don't have 20, but if you are in specific niches, absolutely, you can have one or more UVPs, and I suggest that. So the more you niche down, the better. Just know that you're going to have to know and memorize that. Let's see, what else we got? Yep, A/B testing is exactly right. A/B testing. All right, if there's any other questions, should you work on one niche or all niches? So whatever your UVP is, I would go out and test that first, figure out which one works, and then use that with that niche. And then when you go, let's just say, use the dentist again, implant dentist, you're going to use the one that works with all the implant dentists where you need business, right? Maybe you're selling implants, or you're selling, I don't know, implant stuff. Or you can go to a general dentist and have your secondary UVP that, again, talks directly to the conversation that's already going on in their head. So I would work on as many niches as you're in. So maybe that's 2 or 3 for your industry. It is what it is, right? So, but test those out, because the more you niche down and the more you enter the conversation going on in their head, the more you will be successful, 100%. All right. If you want reminders for next week, I think we're all going to be at the same registration link. But if we aren't, I will contact you and let you know what the new registration link is. I like this, but I like the interaction when I can open it up too. So I'm going to get some feedback. And if you guys would like to send me some feedback, I would really appreciate it. For those that were on the call the first time, I opened it up with them being able to ask an actual question. So I like that part about it. So we'll see. I'm not 100% sure where that's going to go. All right. I think if you have any further questions, I'm happy to share them. In the email that gets sent out after this, I will try and put those links into it. If I can't figure out how to do that, since I'm a little new to this, like the Zoom webinar thing, you can always connect with me on Facebook. Just send me a PM and please say that you were on Webinar Wednesday, and please send me that book. And if you watched the training from last week, I also had an ultimate guide for that training as well. Happy to share that with you. Again, just PM me on Facebook, or jump on LinkedIn and make sure to connect with me, all the different places. And because I post a lot of free stuff, content, good, bad, indifferent, you can jump on and find out there. Let's see. Okay. I appreciate this so much. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for all your comments coming in on chat. I appreciate you. I love that you are here. I love that you're working on your business. Look, it takes a lot. And look, we're on next Wednesday, and you know what Thursday is. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So we're still going to be on Wednesday. So I expect you all to be here and not out shopping for Thanksgiving, because I'll be here. I'm showing up. I want you to show up. All right. Please connect with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you. And I love what I do. And we will see you next time, everybody. Have a great, great day.